Hi, folks. Welcome back to Pop Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we are back with more of Farscape. Now, when you're watching this, or when we're recording this, actually, I should say, Thanksgiving just happened. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you had a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's past.
Yeah,
so
by the time you see this, it'll be well past. So
it might even be close to the new year.
so here's hoping that the tryptophan has worn off and that you're wide awake and celebrating the rest of the holidays, however you celebrate them. We are going to jump into Farscape without too much delay because we're getting into the nitty gritty of the season, or we're railroading our way through to the end of the first season, and we're very excited about that. We've learned a lot.
Yes, very excited.
And we've already kind of established that I was a fan of the show already. I just have a Swiss cheese brain, and I don't remember a lot of elements. It's been a while. I think we said, 8 to 10 years or so since I've watched the series.
How did you watch it
all
10
the way
years?
through?
How did you watch it 10 years ago and not include me, though? That's what I want to know.
Well, because back in those days, you were working during the day, and I was home with children.
Oh,
and
details.
my oldest wanted to watch Farscape. And I think at the time, we had just gotten the full series on DVD, and then we got the full series on Blu-ray shortly thereafter. And now we're watching it on Amazon Prime with them.
Evolution.
Yep. So, my Swiss cheese brain is loving this, going back through it, because there's so many things I've forgotten. There's so many things that I, remember elements of, but I've sort of misremembered them. And seeing the episodes kind of refreshing everything for me. And I'm really digging seeing it through your eyes, because your eyes are fresher than mine in lots of ways. Plus you got a few years on me. You're younger. You're approaching this from a different era. I'm just digging myself into all kinds of holes here today.
What? I'm not that much younger than you, so what?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. All right, whatever.
I feel really old. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
maybe it's just because I'm full of turkey. But
I was gonna say if the shoe fits.
yeah, I'm old.
I almost said if the foo.
Heck, I'm on my fourth quarantine haircut. So
Yeah.
It's been a weird year, and my brain not being all there is probably just par for the course for a lot of people.
I was gonna say I think the only constant that we've had.
Yeah, me being a weirdo.
Yeah, that too.
But I mean, you knew what you were getting into when you married me. So
I did. That's okay.
Anyway, last time we had Durka Returns, which was an episode about the gentleman, the peacekeeper that tortured Rigel for a long, long time.
It's okay, man.
And we found out that we got to meet a new character. Tell us about her. Chiana.
Chiana. I was gonna say Chiana, and I was like, no, that's not right. Chiana.
Sounded very Texan with
Chiana. 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 And just, I just know, like I said, I know just a little bit, enough about her to know that I'm not going to really trust her right off the bat. And of course, she wasn't totally trustworthy in the last episode that we watched. So
to quote Forky, what? No.
Thanks. So I'm interested to see how she fits in with our established crew dynamics, because we've spent an entire season almost kind of establishing where everyone stands with everyone else, and now we've got a brand new element on the ship who we don't know that much about, except that she's not very trustworthy. So it's going to be wreaking some havoc on our crew here. So I want to see what happens next, but I kind of don't want... I mean, I know that everything will eventually work out for the best, but I don't want them to be, horribly maimed by this new character that's come in. So that's all.
All right. Fair enough. We're going to dive into this episode. No clue what's going to happen here, but wouldn't it be weird if you thought you were in for 4 or 5 seasons of something, and you watched the next episode, and all of a sudden your main character had made his way home and everything was fine, and the end? That would be weird, wouldn't it?
That would be very strange.
All right, so we're going to dive into this episode and see what happens. Here we go.
Crichton, look at this.
That's Earth.
I can't go with you. I'm not certain I'll belong there.
This could be goodbye. And I know that you didn't expect me to be here. But thanks.
Oh.
Aw.
Aw.
Goodbye.
There's a part of me inside you.
Oh.
Take care of it.
Sparky,
What?
I'm not taking my
What?
son. So I thought I'd give it to somebody. To Aaron.
No. No, you can't do that.
Aw.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I wonder if the language translator thing works on Earth, and he'll be able to understand everything.
You're almost at entry vector.
I love that as much as Rigel pretends not to care, he's watching.
Of course.
Now,
They all give him such a hard time, and they're all sad to see him go.
Yep.
This is Australia, right?
Uh-oh.
So why did you land in Australia?
I just
Didn't land.
landed.
I crashed.
I'm American. Pretty much missionless.
This is the 12th guy, Wilson. How many more are you going to roll in here before you believe these are translator microbes in my head and not some space virus?
I want to see my son now. Jack, that's what we're trying to determine. Whether it is your son.
Well, Dad's clearly got some clout.
Mm-hmm. And now cooties.
Dad, I need to ask you some questions. What happened on your 10th birthday?
He took me fishing.
I missed you, son.
Get me out of here.
He hasn't let you out of his sight, son. See that van in the parking lot?
The Previa?
Those two women to our right?
Where is he hiding his transponder?
They like to get real close.
It's a question better not asked, honey.
Yes.
Listen, a global alliance has been set up to track the wormhole. You know, when you disappeared in Farscape 1, I had to deal with the possibility that you might not be alive.
Something else has come through the wormhole.
Tell them not to fire!
They're freaking out.
You're positive they're not here to harm us?
No. They came looking for me.
We need you in the medical unit.
What did y'all do? That is not okay.
We sent Voyager. We left damn greeting cards on the moon, and as soon as they get here, look at what you're doing.
I am not okay with any of this.
Rigel died from allergic reaction to the tranquilizer. I think they killed
You
him.
know that those animals killed him. Which one of us do you think they'll kill next, Crichton?
Peacekeepers wouldn't even kill their prisoners to study them.
Told him I'd take care of him.
You were naive to think you could protect them from people like Wilson.
Oh.
Did I kill him?
No. I'm with you.
They took Dargo somewhere. When the guard came back for me, I was ready for him.
What did she say?
She says she wants to shoot your god. Where's Dargo?
He's gone, Crichton. You can't save him.
She can understand you, buddy.
That's for Rigel.
John's getting a little more cowboy the further he goes.
Rain. Is that what you call this?
That's too flimsy to get through there.
So what's this?
It's beer. Alcohol. Trust me, it's just what we need right now. Sorry.
What for?
Everything.
I won't be recaptured, Crichton. They will have to kill me if they come to take me tomorrow.
Aw.
And all these life and death situations, they just get to you, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of bed, John.
What is she wearing?
Everything.
About last night.
Yes, it's fine, John. It's just not top priority right now.
No, you're not going anywhere dressed like that.
Your face.
Sure about this?
Does Wilson know you're here?
No. The two of you have to get out of town. You've got to find someplace that's safe.
We'll hole up somewhere and I'll contact you.
No.
Goodbye, Dad.
Why?
Thank you, Aronson.
Why is everyone looking at me?
It's because they think you look good.
What?
Yeah, she looks familiar. They're all 7 months old. Why are they all 7 months old?
John, stop it.
I know you, don't I?
What?
Yeah. You're the guy on the beach the other day.
Just keep your voice down.
Get away from me, Aaron. Get away! Frank Coconis, I dated your sister.
Okay.
This is exactly the way I remember it. Been in there.
Excuse me.
But I've never been in there. I'm going to talk to the man in charge, and we both know it ain't you. Who are you?
You did well, John. Most species don't do as well.
And what about my friends?
So we decided to use them in our trial.
These people treated me splendidly. Why would you make me think that he was dead?
We needed a human reaction, John.
You made me think you were my father!
Ew.
I'm sorry. For the trial to have value, you had to believe everything.
Well, if you can make all this, why not just make a wormhole to take you to Earth?
That would use all our remaining power. We only have enough left to transport our race one last time. We had to be certain of how we'd be received.
Not well.
There are but a few planets where we can live. The ancients have stories of a world that will welcome us. We had to find out whether humans would welcome us or fight us.
You stole my memories.
We had no choice.
Well,
It's always a choice. I mean,
Show me what you really look like.
I really look like Barbara Streisand.
I vote Goo Monster.
Or that thing.
Yeah, no, sorry. Will not be welcomed on Earth. Sorry to say.
Many of us hoped that Earth might be our welcoming place. If all people were like you, maybe it could be.
Right.
Your humans would kill us.
So what will you do now?
What we've done since before I was hatched. We continue searching for a home. Here.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks.
Oh, is that what General Grievous looks like without all the armor?
Sure.
Maybe we'll meet again one day, John.
Maybe.
All right, that is it for another episode of Farscape. Heidi, thoughts?
Well, as soon as we saw the corpse of Rigel, sorry, man, I knew it had to be some sort of fake out. Like, of course, yes, it could have been that he got there and then decided not to stay on Earth after all, and that could have been the way that we got the rest of the series. But I knew that was a fake out for sure, and I just needed to figure out when we were going to figure out when that was going to be. But before then, and when all of that was happening, I was like, I'm so glad that Shiana didn't board the module along with them because that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, that would have been a problem.
That would have been a big problem. But for the aliens that picked up John and recreated his memory, it was telling to see who they did bring with to show him, as close as he was to Zahn.
But they didn't bring them.
But in his memory. From his memory.
They came looking for him through the wormhole because the Earth disappeared. Because he was just in an experiment.
Gotcha.
That's what they were saying.
Me.
His friends were real.
Look at me trying to go deeper.
They were there.
Okay.
They just weren't hurt.
Okay.
So, and that to me is the one complaint I will have about this episode is that given that they were all actually there and afraid for their lives, in Rigel's case, I thought he was dead, but given everything that Aaron went through, including her night with John, we didn't get any resolution to that.
No.
We just ended with John going back or whatever, assuming that his friends make it back as well. But it's like, we don't get that resolution. And that seems like, I feel like we could have done with a little bit less of him being questioned, a little bit less with some other things to have time for a resolution.
Yeah.
Now, it could be that we get that resolution in the next episode, but it just seems weird that we wouldn't have gotten it here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've taken that turn in previous episodes as well, allowing us to assume that, things will reset and will be jumped into the next day that they actually have something going on. Like, they weeks upon the ship without much happening, and then we get brought into the thick of it like 10 minutes before things start. So
right.
Just assuming that they get back into it. But sorry, yeah, I was looking way deeper, but okay, so they were really there.
But even though this didn't really happen as far as the events on Earth, it is telling for John to, being that this was based around his memories and his thoughts, some part of him knows that bringing those people to Earth would not be a good plan. Some part of him believes that would go horribly wrong. And I think maybe because he had just had those thoughts and was trying to convince Aaron to come with him and all those things, then the question was, how would that have really gone? And he got a chance to taste that without it being real.
Right.
I think that'll influence him going forward as to how he feels about going home and how he feels about the possibility of taking Aaron home.
Yeah.
How could it not?
And that's the thing, like, Dargo's thing saying, who do you think they'll take next? Of course, it would be the one that looks the least like them. So,
sure.
Poor Rigel looks the most like a frog, so they wouldn't think anything of it because we dissect frogs all the time.
Right.
But to have
I didn't. I escaped that.
I actually did too. I had my lab partner do it, she was very interested, and then I got the worst frog ever because it was right before it was about to lay all of its eggs, so it was everywhere. Sorry, gross, but real, and I was so glad that I wasn't actually in there. So they took Rigel first, and of course Dargo's like, who do you think they take next? And I think if John had actually made it back to Earth and had convinced Aaron to go with him, I still think that they would not be they would be more accepting of her just because she looks human, but I don't think that she would be in for a night. Like we saw John just having been 7 months out, being treated like a spy almost. Yeah. So I can't imagine that they would have treated her well, but just not nearly as bad as poor Rigel.
Interesting too, getting to hear from our perspective, getting to hear their actual voices again.
Oh yeah.
Because John already had the microbes when he met Aaron, so we never have gotten to hear Aaron's voice.
Yeah, the only person we heard was Dargo, I think. Maybe a little Zan.
No, we heard some Zan too.
Yeah.
And some Rigel, I believe. But yeah, getting to hear them and getting to hear that Aaron basically sounds like her dialogue's being run backwards, which I know it's just an easy way of doing that. But because they left in the little click kind of thing, it sounds like languages that we would hear on Earth that start with a mouth noise or a click or a whatever. And so it was an interesting sound. So it worked for me. Like I understood what was actually happening, but it worked for me because it is a very human sounding thing.
I heard them saying yachts a lot too in their languages. So
did you? Well,
I did. I heard that. What the yachts?
Yeah. So some things may not translate well.
Yeah, perhaps.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting look, and I didn't remember. I mean, I remembered that they were, that there was Earth involved in this episode, and I remembered that, of course, it's not the end of the series, so. Knew that it wasn't going to be permanent, right. But I had forgotten about this being a test and that kind of thing. So I really wasn't sure. I knew that Rigel wasn't dead, but kind of like you thought, you said you immediately knew that something was off or what was going on. I was thinking, does Rigel have a way to heal himself, to regenerate himself? I wasn't sure where it was going. Yeah. I couldn't remember.
No, well, okay, surely that could be a thing as well.
Please don't call me Shirley. Sorry, you put it out there. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a good look at. I like that we got a little goodbye, which was telling of their relationships with each other. That was sweet at the beginning. And then we got a little further down the Aaron and Crichton trail. And
We don't really know where that trail landed, though.
we don't.
I mean, we can assume, but really we don't.
I preferred her in the suit and dress shirt myself, but
That's
still
pretty hilarious. Like, what is she wearing? Everything. She's like Joey at Thanksgiving.
Sure. That's an appropriate reference for today.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. We will be back with the next episode of Farscape, which is called Through the Looking Glass. We'll
Very
see
excited.
what that's about. And we'll be back with that shortly. We thank you for being a part of this ride. As always, if you like this sort of content,
Hit the thumbs up.
and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We're edging closer to 400 all the time, little person to person, a little bit at a time.
So
we appreciate
exciting.
that.
We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined us.
And we are going to stay on this ride until the end of the season. We may take a couple of weeks off at the end of the season before we jump into season 2, but just because that'll kind of line up with holidays and that kind of thing. But we're excited to finish this season and to dive into season 2.
Yes.
We hope that you'll join us with that. And if you want to see the full reaction, not edited for YouTube, you can do that on Patreon. The link will be down in the description below. Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.